decide who will be moving on to Premier League Season 2. Will it be spawning in the bottom right as the yellow Zerg player for Carante's Esports Club? It is Vortix. Or will it be the Korean player playing from Korea, playing for MVP and playing in orange today? It is our Protoss player. It's TAiLS.
And like I said, I feel like this map should favor the Zerg player. TAiLS is going to throw on the pylon in his main base. The positioning of that pylon, he could be anticipating something like Vortix going for a fast pull. Could also be for some form of gateway opening. And you can also just go Nexus first out of this. So it doesn't mean too much, except that if he opens with a regular, Forge expand, he just doesn't want to have his Forge be vulnerable in the event that there is a fast pull. So nothing crazy just yet. And Vortix, well, he built an Overlord. He is just droning up.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary happening. Let's go over real quickly why we think it's unlikely to see TAiLS grab a third base on this map, and why you said you think it's a little bit Zerg favored on this map. I'm sure you're pointing at that with the camera right now. That's that big open area at the third base. How are you ever going to defend that against Roaches and Hydras, you say? Well, you're not. That's just not going to happen. If your opponent goes for Roach Hydra and you're trying to go for an early third base and you have like one Colossi out and a lot of force fields are not going to cut it. You're going to have like infinite force fields to be able to hold on to that third base. And then still, it's going to be super difficult.
Yeah, and it can also make dealing with units like Mutalisks a pain as well. There's a lot of airspace around the natural, especially the main base, and he's going to go for the Nexus first. Not a bad move by TAiLS. This is one of those maps where the economic play is favored. The spawning pool will be completing soon for Vortix, so TAiLS is going to need to get his Forge up as soon as he can. He actually has. He's going to start in the main base. Very smart play. He does need that pretty quickly just to be perfectly safe. But like you said, that space just has so much there. Until you have like 3-4 Colossi out, dealing with big Roach Hydra pushes is just so difficult because they can get that surface area that they need. That you're not going to be able to funnel them into one choke point that a single Colossus can just get tons of AoE damage in on. So it can make two-base play a little bit more favorable, especially since it's cross-spawn only, so he does know where he needs to go. But we could also just see maybe a Stargate opening, go for some harass, and try to take a third base behind it. It's mostly going to come down to what Vortix wants to do, and he's opened up with a pretty fast gas here, Lurlian.
He has. He's mining away. He will be starting speed relatively soon. But then again, looking at TAiLS, he didn't want to go for a third base on Daybreak, which is a lot easier to secure compared to this map. So therefore, by that analogy, I would be inclined to say we're going to see him do some kind of two-base strategy here at the same time. Maybe go for another Immortal Sentry play, even though this is arguably one of the worst maps for that. Or maybe go for that Colossi timing that you were talking about that starts to become more and more popular, where you hit with 2 Colossi with Thermal Lance and basically break your opponent at his third before he has any significant count of Hydras out and Roaches.
Yeah, I think it's like the 2 Immortal, 2 Colossi, 2-base timing. A lot of alliteration there for the people that like the letter T. But TAiLS, he's going to be sending out a probe now, possibly looking to. It's quite a fun letter. It's very important in normal human verbiage, I would say. But Vortix does have that Zergling on the tower. It's going to immediately tag onto TAiLS' probe, and well, he might be able to scout out that Vortix expanded, but I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to tell that. He is not going to be able to, however, see this gas. That queen will be there, basically like the center under the basketball net, just saying you're not getting past me. And probe is going to check. There's no fast third base, though, which does tell him that it could be two-base play, and that there could be a gas just because he knows his Nexus first was scouted.
Yeah, this is the first time that we see Vortix not going for his early 3-base play in this series against TAiLS. I mean, we saw it on Belshir, we saw it on Daybreak, and now he's not doing it. So curious to see what exactly he's going to be going into. We see the double Evo Chamber, of course, going down. So we'll be going for some upgraded Zerglings there. TAiLS, in the meantime, he sees no third base, and he reacts by 2 cannons. He's going to be cancelling one now, realizing, there's probably nothing coming. Did he scout with an hallucination, or No, actually, he didn't. He hasn't seen anything yet, but still deciding to cancel that second photon cannon, realizing the third photon cannon, I should say, realizing that if a push should be coming, it would have been on the way by now. He would have seen some hint of that aggression coming.
Yeah, and I like the decision that Vortix made. He said, okay, well, you know what? TAiLS saw I didn't have a third base. I'll just throw down 2 evolution chambers and get a third base now that his probe is gone. And TAiLS, like you said, he threw down those cannons. Okay, he canceled one, but that's still resources lost on his part because he did have to cancel it. So with the sentry now pushing away, Vortix comes with his overlord, sees, okay, he made a second cannon. Good for me. Some extra gateways. He's actually going up to 7 gateways. He's got his +1 coming in as well. This could be something like 2-base mass blink stalker with +2 attack timing. It could be something along the lines of maybe a +1 zealot all in, but I feel like with the Twilight Council and that blink on the way now, that's what we're going to be seeing out of TAiLS. Like I said, the 3-base play, not easy to do on this map, so TAiLS could be going all in now off of 2 bases.
Yeah, it looks like it by the amount of gateways that he's constructing. There's not much room for doubt anymore. He's going up to 7 gate blink stalker, which is the maximum that you can support, really going for 8. If you don't warp in constantly, it's a good thing. But a professional player like TAiLS, he will not need 8 gateways when he's going for a blink build like this. So it's going to be working out of 7 right now. Does have blink about halfway finished up. And on the other side of the map, Vortix, will he be ready for this? He doesn't have an infestation pit down yet because his lair isn't ready. And infestation pit would of course be the most ideal thing to have, a few infestors to lock those stalkers in place, which is what Vortix is going to be going for. But will it be finished in time? Will he be ready with that pathogen glance in time? Is that third a fake? I think it's a fake. What is your opinion?
I mean, he knows he's kind of been scouted out a little bit. The overlords did get in and see pretty much everything that they needed to see. It's so tricky, though, because the upgrades are going to be already favoring Vortix. He did go for that early Evo chamber. He will cancel this Nexus, so it does look like he'll be faking this just so he can afford more stalkers. And, he wanted Vortix to see the third. Vortix is going to run these links and try to deny it, and he's going to be like, oh, there's actually no third base. Okay, so now he knows exactly what's coming at him. He knows he needs to not make any more drones. He has 6 drones finishing up right now, and he really can't afford to make any more drones. He just needs to try to pump out constant units to hold this off. He doesn't want this to be like game number 2. Vortix is going to try to snipe off the Cybernetics square, which would actually be huge. Not only would it open his way to jump into the main base of TAiLS, but it would also prevent any more stalkers from being produced, and that Cybernetics square looks like it is going to fall. These stalkers are all TAiLS has to try to make some magic happen with.
Yeah, he's going to have to win it with this. Behind this, there's only going to be Zealot warp-ins, which is, of course, not ideal. Vortix realizes that he has to deal with these dogs, and if he deals with them, he is going to be in a prime spot to win this game. His Zerglings are coming back from behind right now, but there's not that many left. The drones are trying to soak up the damage, but there's just not enough supporting units. The beautiful force field donuts here. Those roaches are doing absolutely nothing, and Vortix has just lost about 46 workers. All his workers are down right now. He's down to only 27 workers. That's all that he has for income right now. Vortix is at 66 supply. He wasn't ready for this. He was playing it big on the upgrades where he needed it to play it big on the roaches and Zerglings. I think Vortix is down. He's out. GG. Well played.